Okay, let's get into this. We're doing a deep dive today, looking at a career path that's, well, pretty radical. It
Yeah.
really makes you question a lot about success, practicality, education.
Right. We're following someone who went from financial engineering in Shanghai, super intense, very utilitarian,
Yeah, he's a...
all the way to Western art history in New York City. A complete shift.
And the real kicker, the thing that just grabs you about this whole story,
Uh-huh.
is his advice looking back. After all that change, all the effort to get away from finance, his advice to his younger self: finish the finance degree.
That's the twist, isn't it? It makes you stop and think.
Totally. So our mission here is to unpack that.
Wow.
Why? Why go through all that, achieve this like humanistic ideal at Columbia, and then say, actually, maybe stick with the original plan?
Exactly. And we're drawing this from a really detailed interview conducted by Chelsea. It maps out this whole journey.
So who are we talking about?
We're talking about someone who started as a top science student in Shandong province in China, super competitive environment,
Oh, yeah. Shandong's known for that.
driven by all this external pressure, right?
Yeah.
But he ends up completely rethinking what education even is. It becomes this clash between, like, pure utility and something more humanistic.
He felt the system he was in, the university, it promised something big, like a map for life.
Right.
But what it actually delivered felt more like just tools. Tools
Yeah.
for a job. The goal was get into a Big Four accounting firm, make maybe 5,000 RMB starting salary, that kind of thing.
And that gap, that feeling of, is this all there is, that really drove the whole transformation.
Okay, so let's rewind.
Yeah.
Phase one, the utilitarian path and the build-up to breaking away.
Yeah, the disillusionment. But first, you really got to understand the pressure cooker he started in.
Right, set the scene.
This is 2005, Shandong. The Gaokao, the big college entrance exam, is notoriously tough there. And he was in the science experimental class. We're talking top 100 students, elite.
Wow, okay. So high pressure from the start.
Unbelievable pressure. And the schedule, it was designed for one thing: results. Get up at 5:30 in the morning.
5.30.
Oof. Yeah. Study straight through till 10 at night. Mandatory classes on weekends. It wasn't about exploring ideas.
No, it sounds like pure output. Maximize exam scores.
Exactly. Education as just delivery mechanism.
When you're 17, under that kind of system, choosing a major, you probably play it safe, right?
You do. And that's what happened. Financial engineering. The logic, as he admitted later, was pretty simple. Finance equals money. Engineering equals science.
Seemed like a solid, respectable choice.
Right.
Practical.
The perfect blend of safety and maybe prestige. But then he gets to university in Shanghai.
And reality hits.
Instantly, he just found it boring. That was his word. The whole atmosphere was just transactional.
How so?
All about jobs, internships, future salaries, not, actual learning or intellectual curiosity. It was pure careerism.
Okay, so the disillusionment starts early.
Yeah.
But what was the breaking point? Was it the hard math, the finance theory?
Surprisingly, no. It was accounting class.
Accounting.
Yeah. He called it mechanical and most imagination breaking. It felt like the total opposite of what higher education should be about.
Like just learning rules and procedures, know why?
Exactly. No soul. And this led to this deep feeling he called, huanmei.
Which means...
It's more than just being bored or fed up. It's like profound disillusionment. It's realizing the whole system promised this grand vision, this way to understand the world.
the map for life.
Right. But all it gave him were standardized ledgers, predictable mechanical outcomes.
That really hits home for anyone who's felt that disconnect, that search for meaning, for context,
Yeah.
and getting just a process manual back, like our learner profile.
Precisely. You want the why, and they only give you the how. And that emptiness, that hue on me, created this desperate need for something else.
Which sets up phase two,
Yeah.
the big pivot, the leap into the unknown.
Yeah, the radical shift. And the catalyst, almost random. He's on a train to Guilin. A friend hands him an article. It's about liberal arts colleges, LACs. And the article calls them the world's best undergraduate education.
Wow, just like that, on a train.
Pretty much. He said he basically decided right then and there, hopped off the train knowing he had to change direction.
So what was the big appeal? What did LACs offer that was so different?
It was the absolute opposite of the specialized Chinese system he was in. LACs champion general education.
Right, the broad foundation.
Exactly. 2 whole years exploring different fields before you have to pick a major. He took like 8 different subjects: sociology, geography, political science.
So freedom, intellectual freedom to explore.
That's what he was craving. But, and this is crucial, making this leap wasn't easy. It was incredibly high stakes.
Why is that?
Well, his background. His parents were middle school teachers, working class. There was no family wealth to fund this dream.
So he needed money. Serious money.
He needed a full scholarship. It was the only way. No scholarship, no pivot.
Okay, that adds another layer of intensity. And how did he even manage the application process?
That's the other amazing part. He did it completely DIY, do it yourself.
No consultants, no help.
Nope. Buying pirated SAT prep books. Traveling, actually having to leave mainland China, go to Hong Kong or Singapore just to take the SATs and other tests.
Wow. The sheer determination. You have to admire that.
Absolutely. It shows how badly he wanted out of the system he was in.
And the biggest gamble of all, he just walked away from his Shanghai degree after 2 years of work.
Completely abandoned it, dropped out. It was a powerful statement against what he called utilitarianism. He even quoted something like, "Man is established only by breaking the existing structure."
That's incredibly bold, almost reckless, you could say.
Oh, totally. He admits it himself in hindsight, called it stupid because he had zero backup plan if that scholarship hadn't come through. Who knows?
He describes himself as extremely lucky it worked out.
Which he was. It was this total leap of faith driven by idealism.
And idealism, that amazingly paid off. Which brings us to phase 3. He gets the scholarship, goes to the U.S., and ends up in art history.
Yeah, art history, which, again, was kind of a rebellious choice, right?
How so?
Well, think about his peers. Other high-achieving Chinese students going abroad, many were probably still aiming for, math, econ, Wall Street.
The practical paths.
Exactly. But he chose art history. Why?
Yeah.
Simply because he loved it. He said, I want to do it well. That was the motivation. Mastery, passion.
And that passion led him all the way to a PhD. At Columbia, no less.
Yep, a direct PhD program, which he described colorfully as like eating a big fat person in one bite.
Okay, so intense, very demanding.
Extremely, and highly specialized work, too. He ended up focusing on art exchange between China and Japan during the Southsong and Yuan dynasties, specifically Zen monasteries.
That sounds incredibly niche and difficult.
It required a huge commitment. He actually had to take a whole year off just to learn Japanese properly.
A year just for language.
Yeah, before he could even start his fieldwork in Japan, which took another year. That's serious dedication to the subject.
Okay, so he reaches the pinnacle, right? PhD from Columbia in his chosen field. The academic dream. But then, another shift.
Another shift. He decided not to pursue the traditional tenure-track professorship.
Why not, after all that work?
He found the academic system itself, the competitiveness, the pressure. He called it painful. He realized he didn't need the title, the tenure track, to stay connected to his passion. He could continue engaging with art history in other ways.
So what does that look like now? What's he doing?
Right now, he's a full-time lecturer, also at Columbia, teaching core Western art history classes.
Still teaching, but maybe on different terms.
Exactly, and he teaches using the Socratic method. Very interactive.
Oh, interesting. So not just lecturing.
No, it's all about observation, discussion, debate. Small classes, about 42 students total. He gets them really talking about the art.
That sounds like a fulfilling way to teach, especially for students who might not otherwise engage with art.
He finds it incredibly meaningful. Many of his students are, say, pre-law or heading into finance. For them, this might be their only art history course ever.
So it's a chance to share that beauty, as he put it.
Right. A chance to make them really look and think differently, even if just for a semester. He forces them to debate why a piece matters, not just memorize facts.
Okay, so intellectually, sounds like he found a good spot. What about the practical side? Life in New York City.
Ah, yes. The reality check. The work-life balance. Excellent. He says he basically works about 2 days a week.
2 days. Nice. Leaves a lot of time for it.
Museums, reading, exploring other interests. He's even thinking about what his next career transition might be. That freedom is huge.
I've heard it. There's always a but, especially in NYC.
But the pay, it's low by New York standards. He mentioned that Bloomberg article, you know the one.
The one that says $100 in New York feels like $36K elsewhere.
That's the one. So the freedom comes at a very real financial cost. It's a conscious trade-off he's made.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize this. We followed this incredible arc. What's the first big takeaway about making these kinds of life choices?
Well, one piece of wisdom that comes through is about dealing with uncertainty. He said something like, you can't find all the information. You just make the best decision within the information you can master.
That explains the initial leap, right? You act on what you know, even if it's incomplete. You take the risk.
Exactly. It justifies that necessary gamble early on.
But then comes the twist, the hindsight. Knowing everything he knows now, The fulfillment, the struggles, the financial reality. Why tell his 17-year-old self to stick with financial engineering? That's the puzzle.
Right, and his explanation is really insightful. He talks about shedding that youthful, almost ideological rejection of the practical world. He used the term "kungo."
Which means, kind of snobbish, self-righteous.
Sort of, yeah. Like
Yeah.
looking down on finance or making money just because it felt boring or because everyone else was doing it. He sees that now as immature.
Ah, so the idealism that fueled the escape,
Hmm.
he now sees its limitations.
Exactly. He realizes that rejecting utility just on principle was maybe missing the point. Now he thinks, well, his quote was something like, "If you can both make money and have a humanistic passion, isn't that great?"
Integration, not rejection. Find a way to have both.
That seems to be the mature perspective he reached. Why choose one when you might be able to integrate?
Which leads to his ultimate advice, right?
Yeah, final synthesis. Don't deny anything too quickly. If you have the chance to learn something and you are already doing it, then do it well.
Even if it's accounting class.
Even if it's accounting class, don't just dismiss it because it doesn't feel like your passion right now. Master it anyway. Integrate it. Don't just abandon things wholesale.
So the final thought for you, the listener. This whole journey started by moving away from the practical towards the highest academic ideal. But it ended with an appreciation for what the Chinese call renjin yanhua.
The smoke and fire of mortal life. The everyday stuff. The
Yeah.
practicalities.
Right. So the question becomes, how do you balance your own ideals, your passions, with the necessary grit and utility of everyday work and life? Is fulfillment found by escaping the practical? Or perhaps by learning how to integrate it, even the parts you once wanted to reject? Something to think about.